after opening Tableau, the very first thing we do that we do for every single visualization is we need to feed data into Tableau. Tableau works as a visualization layer on top of your data. So the data we have here is an Excel spreadsheet, which we'll go through in a second. And we have here Tableau Public in the background, or you can use Tableau Desktop, obviously. And what we're doing is we're feeding this into Tableau. You see, Tableau doesn't actually store any data itself. It needs to feed from somewhere. So what we do is we connect Tableau to our data source. That is how it works. So let's have a look at this data set to see what we're working with in this section. Okay, let's bring this over here. I have here just a very simple data set. You have columns, rows, nothing fancy. The information is office supply data. So it is the selling of office supplies in different locations. So we have some dates here, we have some numbers, we have some labels. Pretty basic. Let's close this up. What we're doing is we're going to feed this into Tableau Public. There are two methods. The first method is you can simply click this and drag and drop anywhere on this page. Let's do that. I'm going to click and drag. Oh, hang on. I think my mouse is playing up. There we go. Give it a second. And once it does that, it reads your data. As you can see, this looks pretty much like the Excel spreadsheet. That is method number one. I'm going to show you the second method. Let's close this out. Oh, let's just open another one. The second method is you can actually search for the file. So I have here another one. From here in the navigation, you can pick Microsoft Excel. From here, you can navigate to the file that you're going to be working on, which is, where did I put it? Here we go, accelerator program, and open. The reason I don't like to do this is because I have to select the data type. Whereas with the drag and drop, it doesn't matter what the file type is, I just drag and drop and it'll just read it. That is the benefit of that one. All right, now that we're here in Tableau, the very first page that comes up is basically showing your data to be showing your data type, showing what's in there, showing your joins and your connections, which we'll get to much later on, shows you all the sheets inside that spreadsheet. And the way the connectors work in Tableau is that each connector has its own kind of module in order to read the data. So if you're logging into servers, or if you're logging into, text files or whatever, each one has its own custom page to read that information, which is fantastic. It makes it easier to actually read it and absorb it. Okay, this part here is your connection. This is the file you're connecting to. You can see it's Microsoft Excel. It's got the file name. In here, it shows all the sheets you have in that file. This one we're not interested in. And this is the actual sheet that we've loaded in. Typically what happens is if you only have a single sheet in your data set, it will automatically bring it in. But if you have multiple sheets, it will actually look like this. So what we do is we select which sheet of data within that spreadsheet we want to analyze. So we drag this and drop it. You'll find that in Tableau, a lot of it's just drag and drop. It's so simple. Next, looking at these little blue parts here, you can see blue and sometimes they're green, which we'll explain later. This is the data type of that field. When it's an ABC, it means it's just a word, or words, or they call them strings, but they're really just words. Here you have a little planet, and that shows it's a geographical location. We didn't have to set this. Tableau is smart enough to know that, oh, this is a city, and the data inside sounds like cities. Let's make this a geographical location. It will also determine whether it's a state, a city, a postcode, a country, a region, whatever it might be. Next is the date. We have a little calendar here, which is very appropriate. It can read, this is one of the things Tableau does really well, is that it can read so many different types of date formats that you never really have to worry about trying to clean it up too much. The only thing you got to be careful of is if you have a country like United States and you have a country like Australia, where they go, in the United States it's month, day, year, whereas in Australia it's day, month, year. It's just something to be careful about. But more often than not, I'd say 95% or more of the time, I never have issues with this. Right, so we have more planets, more words, more planets, and then here you have the hashtags, which means it's a number. That's very important because if we're going to do calculations, it needs to be a number so that it knows it can apply it to them. Okay, once we have the data set and we're happy with it, or like it looks good, what we do next is we click on this very alluring sheet 1. From here, we go into visualization mode. This is now where we can do our bar charts and line charts. And if you ever need to go back and check your data source or check your data types and all that kind of stuff, you can just simply click on data source down here, or you can click on your connection up here and go edit data source like so. That second method is probably better once you have multiple connections. But that is how you insert or load your datasets. Thanks for watching the video. If you want to learn the entire Tableau platform, consider enrolling into my course. It's one of the highest ranking courses on Udemy, and enrolling today, you'll be joining the almost 200,000 students that have enjoyed my courses over the years. Thanks again for watching, and hope to see you in the course.